Good friend of mine has a bidet. He loves it and swears by it.
A lot of people do.
Cleanest ass in town.
Yeah, that was the joke of the whole episode.
Yeah.
It's like that.
You're better than everybody else.
We're singing Hampshire Valley in my old Kentucky home. Kentucky.
Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Kentucky Commons Radio Hour. I am Michael Moeller, joined by one David Satterley,
Hello.
one John Ronayne,
Hello.
And one Kevin Gibson as our guest, Louisville author. Kevin, we'll talk to you here in a little bit.
Okay.
We're recording tonight at Brewgrass Homebrew Supply, as most of the time in Louisville, Kentucky. And if you're listening to this, thank you. You are listening to this. We appreciate you. You are probably already subscribed. And you've probably already rated us 5 stars, but if not, go ahead and do that. And also share the episode. Tell your friends. Be like, hey, there are these cats in Germantown that record this podcast, and sometimes they're funny, sometimes they try to be funny. And you can share that episode in love with them. We are not only recording on all the podcast platforms you might be listening to, but also we've made our YouTube channel public. So follow us and subscribe on YouTube, youtube.com/@Louisville Ale Trail. And you can see the video content that we're producing. You can see the beers that we're drinking. You can see John's face as he's talking. And who doesn't want to see that?
That's what I'm saying.
Once a week, I subject myself to that.
That's too much.
As I mentioned, we are joined by one Kevin Gibson, born and raised in Louisville.
Southern Indiana mostly, but yeah. But I've been over on the South River for 20 plus years.
We'll count that. You're a local author. You are a journalist. You've written for a lot of different pubs.
Mm-hmm.
I've known you more on the beer side, but you also do quite a bit in spirits as well. Thanks for joining tonight.
Oh, thanks for having me.
We are opening the show the same way we always open the show, with a top of the show beer of sorts. Today's featured beer is the coffee stout from Schlafly, who is so kind to actually send us a little care package recently. So Schlafly, thank you for the beer.
Yeah.
Let's enjoy it. And David, can you tell us a little bit about it?
Sure can. Hailing out of St. Louis, that's about 4 hours west of Louisville.
I love St. Louis.
Our last guest, Matt Watson, was about 3 hours west of Louisville, so you could say we're westward bound. But this is their classic coffee stout. They do this with a company called Caldi's Coffee. So they come to the tap room, order a shot of espresso, and we get this oatmeal stout, an accompaniment with said espresso. So I think they took the best of both worlds, put it together, and kind of did like a cold toddy, which is the method a lot of people are using to infuse coffee at this point. But geez, yeah, that's a big nose.
Yeah, the coffee
It
aroma's
smells
great.
amazing.
It smells like a fresh pulled shot of espresso. It's like super kind of like light, nutty, fruity, silky.
Oh, yeah.
It
It smells like chocolate.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do love a coffee stout.
I do too.
It's a big coffee stout. I'm ashamed to say that, when I think about Schlafly, I think about pumpkin beers and IPAs and pale ales, but this is one of the first stouts in general that I've had from them, I think.
Yeah, and so much is intertwined between Louisville and St. Louis. The French connections, the people that kind of migrate over. We've got a couple brewers that have been over in St. Louis before that now reside in Louisville.
Both historic beer cities.
Both historic beer cities.
Right on the Ohio.
And speaking of historic beer cities, Kevin, how did you get into writing, and how did you get into alcohol?
Ooh, long stories both. Writing, I was in 5th grade and, wasn't mulling colleges yet. And a local TV broadcaster named Melissa Forsyth came to speak to my classroom. And we all got a different job. We put on a fake broadcast, and we made a camera out of an old box and stuff like that. And I was given the job as sports writer.
Oh, cool.
And so, and I just was stealing stuff from the Courier Journal, and I wrote, a couple pages of copy, and I thought, man, this is cool. I'm writing about sports. And I said right then and there, I want to be a sports writer. And that's what all through high school, all through middle school, high school, I stuck with it. Never got away from wanting to be a writer. Just always what I wanted to do. So I count myself lucky.
Did you play the sports as well?
I played a little when I was young, but I was not very good. So, but as far as writing about alcohol, that was something that I have to probably blame Roger Baylor for that, because I started going to what's now the Public House, Richo's, and he had some like Indiana like flyer free thing that people were writing about beer, and I thought, what a great freaking job. Can I say the F word on this show?
Sure, yeah,
Oh,
of
yeah.
course.
Okay.
It's
What a
encouraged.
great fucking job to be
Yeah.
able to write about beer, because that combines two of my loves. So I made it my purpose to find a way to do that. And so I wrote my first story about beer as a cover story for the Leo, talking about, this is like 1994 or 5.
Wow.
Maybe
Old school
no,
Leo.
maybe more like 99, when BBC was going strong and Pipkin was just getting ready to open and that kind of thing. And so I wrote a story about it, and I tried my best to interview what's his face from Sam Adams, and they sent me a packet, and they were like, she emailed me back. She said, we're not going to waste our time on some Louisville writer we've never heard of. I mean, literally, it was really rude with the way she put it, but she sent me a packet of stuff and information. So, but that was my first beer story. And it was just like every time a brewery would open, I would pounce on it. I would contact the editor and say, I'm going to write this story. And they'd say, okay, whatever, and they'd pay me a little bit for it. But that's how I got to slowly but surely know the brewers and the brewery owners over the course of time, because I just kept doing it. Then I started my 502 Brews blog as a way of getting more ingrained. And that was sort of my pitch to try and write that book that I wrote, the 2014 book about Louisville beer history.
Yeah, I was going to say a lot of our listeners are obviously people who are into beer, and they're probably familiar with your work, even if they're not aware of it.
Quite
Because your book is
possible,
all over
yeah.
the place. Like it's over there at Walgreens. Like you see it at Kroger's.
Yeah.
You see it at all
People
the
will
places.
ask, where can I find your work? I said, just Google Kevin Gibson Louisville. You're going to find all kinds of
Yeah,
it.
it's a Louisville beer Derby City history on draft for the
Yeah.
listeners. It's an
Yeah.
excellent book.
You can buy it at my website, KevinGibsonWriter.com. Is
Yeah.
that allowed to?
Yeah,
Okay.
of course.
Or Amazon, or wherever fine literature is sold.
But get it from the author's website. I'm
It
sure
helps
it's-
me a lot.
Yeah,
My rent's high.
and you might sign it for you if you run into him.
100% will sign it.
I have to relate to both of those stories, because in 4th grade we were supposed to like dress up as somebody, and I don't remember the exact premise, but I picked Roald Dahl. who was-
Oh yeah,
and I'm like 5'5", like
I'm sorry,
full
RuPaul?
grown. Roald Dahl.
Roald Dahl.
Oh.
Roald Dahl.
The Witches.
The BFG?
not RuPaul. James the Giant.
Not RuPaul. It was a little early. They had banned it. Now it's unbanned.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's fine now. But I did that, and that's a tall guy, and I'm just like this little guy.
Yeah.
And anyways,
You should didn't pick Manute Bowl.
what's that?
Oh, never mind. He's like a 7'10" NBA player. He's crazy tall.
And then also when I was getting into beer was right around that 2014 era, probably a little earlier. But I do remember reading 502 Brews as I
Yeah.
got into the local exploration of things for a little while.
That's
back
how I
when-
got to know John Worth.
He's been on the podcast.
Yeah.
great.
He and I had a little bit of a tangle around that time. Yeah.
Everybody says that about man. He must have been out
Well,
there.
good
there causing
thing-
a
I won't go
scene.
into that story on here, because he and I have made peace. But yeah, that was an interesting time.
I was gonna say it's been 10 years,
It's been a while. Yeah.
maybe.
Yeah.
Beer under
He's
the
not listening to
bridge.
this now, probably.
Yeah. 10-year grudges shouldn't exist. I mean, especially if they relate to
No.
like chili or anything like that.
Yeah. As far as your, the beer book went, that was an incredibly well researched book. How
Thank
did you approach doing all the research?
Well, I had already had interest in those big 3 brands, Ferris, Ertles, and Fall City. So I had already read quite a bit. I had read Conrad Selle's book and stuff like that, and I had a dog-eared copy of that.
You mean his encyclopedia?
Yeah, that's a typical read, but it's so full of information. I use it as one of my primary sources.
What is that book? Just for anybody that's unfamiliar.
Louisville Breweries.
I can't remember. It's a long title. It's Louisville
Yeah.
Breweries. Look that up, and it's out of print. I think.
I got a copy of it around here somewhere.
I think his partner. Oh my gosh, what's his name?
Selle?
Selig sounds right. No, that's Conrad's.
Oh,
Conrad Selle, and then his partner who did a lot of the research. Anyway,
Guthrie.
I asked because we did get a DM from someone asking about local history books and made them a short list. So I just want to get that info out to anybody that might be curious about
we
that.
included your name in that too.
Oh, yeah,
Thank
you
you.
were there.
Thank you. Well, it was the book was reprinted, so I ended up losing my original, and I had to buy one off eBay for like $45.
Oh, it's expensive.
Yeah.
I got one from Book and Music Exchange about 10 years ago, and I hold on to that pretty closely.
Yeah. My
it's-
first one was a gift from an ex-girlfriend.
So what's the other author's name? Is it Guthrie?
Guetig.
Peter R. Guetig?
Guetig.
And Conrad D.
Peter,
Selle.
I think it's Guetig, but I'm not sure.
Sure. I'm not either.
Also, the back of the book says beer is health.
Sounds
There
accurate.
you go, man.
I would like
Sounds
to
accurate.
adopt that.
Getting healthy, one drink at a time. But anyway, then it just became a thing of when you mentioned Fred Minnick before we started the show, who's a good friend of mine, and he was offered a contract to write that book.
Oh.
And he said, "I'm not your guy. Here's your guy."
That's awesome.
And he forwarded them to me. And they were like, "What's your background?" And I said, "Dude, you don't need anybody else writing this book." So yeah, they just sent me a contract, and that was it. I signed it and started work, and it took me quite a few months to do it. I spent a lot of time working at Buffalo Wild Wings of all places.
Sure.
Just sit there at the bar and just I very extensively used for research. The Courier Journal archives that you can access through the library for free.
Mm-hmm.
And so there's just a wealth of information. I use it all the time for all books. And you've also got the Encyclopedia of Louisville, which is pretty comprehensive as well. And then I just go and look up different things. I draw from my own experiences. If I've interviewed somebody that related to the topic I'm writing, I'll just use the interview, which is, that's fair. I'm a writer,
Yeah.
So
There's also a magnificent, I know this isn't in the same vein, but there's a magnificent Facebook group called Louisville's Past.
Mhm.
yeah,
It's
I'm
a
a part of
great
that.
group.
Yeah, and it's people that kind of troll through the library archives that you can go out and
Yep.
scan and read through, and they'll post pictures from the 30s to 50s,
Yeah.
and pre-on. So
I love the then and now photos. Those are my favorite.
mhm.
Well,
I
we
love
mentioned
that.
your beer book. That kind of ties into your. Is that your most recent book? Isn't it?
Yeah, this is the last one that came out. Is this time for this?
Sure.
Yeah,
Okay.
sure. Why not?
So this is called This Used to Be Louisville. So this is a then and now kind of thing of places that today. What did they used to be 100 years ago or 200 years ago or however? Not many were that old, but for instance, what is now Royal's Chicken was a movie theater,
The
a
theater,
small penny theater. It was a porn theater for a while too.
Silver Dollar being a
Silver Dollar was a firehouse. Yeah. There are just so many places that I always feel like you go into a place, and I've always been that person. I wonder what this used to be. I thought about that when I walked in here. It's like I've been in here before, but I'm like this used to be something very different. So if you like that kind of stuff, you'll enjoy that book, and it's been actually done really well for me. It's sold really well.
And it goes back really far, because like the one of Frankfurt Avenue where they're at the post at the train station, and that was like the original gate to. You had to pay a toll to come in the gate to the city.
Yep.
Did I get that right?
Of course, like
Or is it-
the original, when they first opened Caveville Cemetery, they used that little space in front of it. That's where they had wagon trolleys pulled by donkeys, and that's where they turned around and went back down Broadway.
That's cool.
And that's how freaking old that is. How long it's been there.
I like you described your book somewhere. I think maybe it's in the preface, but everybody in Louisville does do this. You're driving by, or you ask somebody where something is, and like, oh, it's in the old
Sears building.
Yeah, exactly. We have Noble Funk here in Louisville, and I think it's a sign of how good their brand is doing, that people are starting to just refer to it as Noble Funk instead of, oh, it's in the old Kroger building.
Yeah, the old ghetto Kroger, as they called it. Yeah,
which hasn't been open for 10 years.
Right.
So.
Still, but it's like the first and last chapter of the book are both about the old Sears building. There are two different old Sears buildings, and most people today don't even know that. The one downtown that's now LG&E offices, that closed years and years and years ago as a Sears, but it was one of the biggest Sears stores built in America at the time.
on 9th Street.
Huge. It's on Broadway and 8th, I think. Broadway and 8th. Yeah. So, you're close. But yeah, I mean, there's a wealth. I could have probably written 2 of those books. So hopefully I'll get to write another one, at some point, might have follow up to it.
So what other books have you written?
So we've got Secret Louisville, which is just kind of about weird things you didn't know, weird places. And then Unique Eats and Eateries of Louisville, which literally within a month of publishing that, 3 of the restaurants in it closed. I think now of the probably 80 or so in there, probably 25 or 30 are closed.
Was that pre-COVID?
It was pre-COVID.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it was like, man, what the heck? This is a freaking trap, that my publisher set for me. And I think that they've kind of backed off doing those now. But then there was, of course, 100 Things to Do in Louisville Before You Die, which is the first one I wrote for my current publisher. The beer book I worked with a different Arcadia-owned publisher. But so the one I'm working on now is going to be called Oldest Louisville. So it's about some of the oldest places in the city. And, I was just telling you guys about Jack Fry's. I'm going to put in there as the oldest sports bar, which I know it's an upscale restaurant now. But if you go in there, the walls are covered with pictures of boxers and horse races and, Kentucky Derby pictures. And so when Jack Fry opened that place in the 1930s, he had been a amateur boxer. He was really obsessed with horse racing and boxing, and he was a gambler. And so he went to Churchill Downs one day and bet on a horse and won $20,000 or $30,000, and he used that to buy the bar and turn it into his own bar.
It's probably like $750,000 in today's currency or something.
I mean, yeah.
Probably
Dude was
well
flush
over
with
that.
money. There's even a picture of him at the track holding 2 winning tickets, and they think that's probably from that day.
Wow.
So, but anyway, he opened it, and so his wife was cooking sandwiches and soup, just basic stuff. He was running the bar, and in the back room, he was running a booking operation.
Yeah.
So it was
books?
a rough and tumble place, and he lost his liquor license repeatedly. I was doing that research today, and it was just like over and over. And he got arrested for disorderly conduct, and he was just a party man, and. I found a quote from the 60s of one of his business owners in the neighborhood. He said, "Jack's the kind of guy that if he doesn't like you, he'll curse you. And if he doesn't curse you, that means he doesn't like you."
That's great.
So, yeah. So, it's fun. What I do is fun, finding stuff like that.
So what is your process for deep diving into research like that?
I start by just doing basic Google searches. What is the oldest? You just put in literally oldest Louisville. Google the name of the book title that I'm working on, and you're going to find stuff. And so then I go from there, I'll start off like at Wikipedia to get the lay of the land, and then I'll go and find actual information that I can trust to be true. And then, so then it's Encyclopedia of Louisville, it's Courier Journal archives, and sometimes there are stories by bloggers, stories by other journalists that will give me insights too. So what I just collected from that, and then of course, like I said, I use my own experiences. I've been doing this for 30 plus years. I've done a lot of interviews over the years, and so sometimes I can weave those in. Because I had in 2018, I interviewed the owner of Jack Fry's, and she's the one that told me she thinks the place is haunted, and she gave me a lot of insight about the past. So things like that.
And there's a lot of beer history in Louisville too. Like a lot of those buildings are some of the catalysts for some of the developments of different neighborhoods in town.
Yeah. And some there will be some beer mentioned in this book, just like there are in every one of my books. But,
yeah. I mean, it was between the first brewery that is credited as opening in 1808. So between then and Prohibition, around 50 breweries opened in the city during that time period, which is incredible.
And which was on par with like cities like Milwaukee and St. Louis. We were right up there with them.
Yeah.
And then Prohibition kind of kicked us in the ass.
It did. And that was the end. It was just so sad. I mean, I'm glad that the big three managed to hold out so that my parents and grandparents remember it, Mm-hmm. So I was able, like for the beer book, I was able to actually interview one of the last employees ever at Falls City. He was the one that turned off the boilers for the last time and walked out. Yeah.
That's awesome.
So he's since passed away. So it was really a good thing I was able to get that perspective and a firsthand perspective. And
so the big three in Louisville, we had Falls City, we had Fairs, and was Ertles the third?
Yeah.
And so Fall City, obviously, still exists in a different form.
Yeah.
We should shout out fairs too.
Yeah.
I know you're friends with Jeff and the
Jeff
guys
Faith
down at
brought
Akasha.
that brand back, and he actually used brewing recipes from the early 1900s to create his lager, and now he's got a couple other. He's got a Kentucky Common, and he's got another style that he's doing. So that's going to be in the book as the oldest beer brand, because even though it wasn't continuous, it does represent the oldest brand that exists today. Fall City was 1905, and Ertles is not really around. Sometimes Leah makes one of the recipes for the Common every so often, but it's very inconsistent. So I didn't mention that. But
If you want the Fairs brand, you can get a Akasha downtown on Market Street.
Let's go to Akasha.
It's kind of like they call it like a pre-prohibition style lager. So it's like, as you said, he did a lot of research, and I'm sure talked to Conrad Selle for like 8 hours.
Oh yeah.
I think he got the
Which if you talk to Conrad, it's going to be about 8 hours.
Oh, yeah.
He got it from Conrad's
Yeah,
book,
he
didn't
got the original recipe, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I always appreciate about your book too, because Conrad is like we always said we should like get him on the podcast one day and then just push record and then like just come back the next morning and we'll have all that there
Get
to
like
let
9
ChatGPT
episodes
analyze.
out of it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But you took all the information and you bring a much more like
Distilled.
storied voice to
I
it.
like trying to tell stories.
Yeah.
That's what I love to do. And like reading his book, informative, but it was exhausting. It was like going back to school, and studying for a test. And even though it was information I wanted, like I didn't need to know how many accounting employees that Ertles had in 1972 or 1952. I didn't need all that information.
Who they bought the glass from. Like, exactly.
I mean, it's like,
It was a very
dang.
thorough and vanilla book. And if you don't want to spend, $40 on eBay for that book, you can actually go to Akasha, enjoy affairs, and read their copy, because it's usually hanging out there by the couch that they have.
Yep.
I know plenty of people have just kind of thumbed through the book there.
A lot of great visuals in it.
Introduction.
Mm-hmm.
It's
So many.
It's even better for the visuals, because they've photographed Peter's collection and Conrad's collection and a few other collections around town, and it's really worth having if you're a beer lover of local history, love of beer history. It's just a hard read.
Yeah.
I love picture books.
Me too.
It's really, I get through them pretty quick.
Anything over an 8th grade level reading wise that I can't do.
Yeah, we need to get a coloring book from Kevin Gibson soon. It would just all be the color yellow for beer.
Do you use MLA or APA citing? This is
Chicago style.
Yeah.
Chicago style.
That's the Chicago way. So one of the things that we're actually working on that we just announced publicly, I guess, for what it's worth, we are trying to work on a Kentucky Historical Society marker. So throughout the state, the Kentucky Historical Society puts up these informational markers denoting famous people, places, events, whatever. And obviously, as you can imagine, Kentucky is chock full of bourbon. A lot of bourbon stories, a lot of Civil War stories. But the one thing that I've never read before on any of these markers around town is anything talking about beer. And so despite us having a storied history of beer and brewing in the city of Louisville, there's really no mention of it from the state in this specific context of a historical marker. So that's one thing that we're advocating for. We've kind of played around with a couple different ways. We want to talk about the pre-prohibition brewing era of Kentucky, but then we also want to kind of give a tip of the hat to David Pierce in 1989, 1990, when he first brewed the first legal and commercial beer post-prohibition in Louisville for a place called Charlie's Restaurant, I believe. I'm going to cite
downtown.
I'm going to cite Roger Baylor on that, because that's the story that I've heard from him and read from him at 530 West Main Street, currently in front of a closed Las Tecas Mexican restaurant.
Yep.
So I want to try to see if they will put the marker there. Kind of a tip of the hat to both the old pre-prohibition brewing scene, but then also the revitalization, rebirth of it.
I love this idea.
Yeah. So that's going to be fun. That's something we've been working on. The application is going to be read at the end of the month. So
if you want to learn more about that, we published a blog post on it at louisvilletrail.com/blog this week too. So you can go read up on that.
blog.
I think that's what it is. Whatever. We'll link it.
Yeah. So if you need any help, let me know. I'd love to get involved.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. All right. And we believe that you have another show and tell segment for us. I know we kind of talked about one regarding your books, and but you also have another passion other than writing.
That's hot peppers and making hot sauce. I love making hot sauce. I don't know if you've seen my recent videos. I started doing a video series called Chasing Heat, where I just eat hot peppers and just react to it.
I'm afraid right now, honestly.
I ate 2 ghost peppers in the last one and ended up throwing up. And it was curdled milk.
I can't wait. So I will say, because of what we're about to do, this segment is actually sponsored by Craft House Pizza and Hometown Brewing. They're over on Preston. They were so kind to give us some wings, some naked wings to try with the hot sauce that you brought, because I don't want to just do straight hot sauce.
Their wings are legit,
like
too.
I don't want to just take a little toothpick dab of hot sauce. I want the experience. How is this hot sauce going to taste on some wings? I love their wings. Naked wings are great. Chris Johnson from Bill's in New Belgium actually gave me the suggestion of going after them for these naked wings. So it all worked out. So if you want to prepare the hot sauce, I'll prepare the wings, and let's
go one at a time.
Let's do this one at a time.
And speaking of Craft House, you can have our collaboration, but base model mild. We did a mild ale with Craft House that lives on tap over there, and in my opinion, is quite delightful. They knocked that one out of the park.
We knocked that out of the park.
Well, yeah, it was a team effort. Team effort. Mostly Ellis, honestly, but we'll take what little credit we can. These look amazing. You know that it's good hot sauce when it's got like chunks of the hot sauce clinging to the side of the container.
Yeah, and seeds.
I'm literally just sweating thinking about
You made it on the AC. Like, we might need some air conditioning up in here.
The David and John, have you all ever done like any hot challenges?
No.
Or
I've eaten
like
the
this
Trinidad
before?
once.
Okay.
And Tobago.
But yeah,
So one weird fact about me, as we're kind of prepping things, I actually the first time I was ever on live TV, it was through Kentucky Sports Television with Mark Krebs, former UK basketball player, and they used to do this segment called Challenge Krebs or something, or Challenge with Krebs. And so I challenged Krebs. This was on Spectrum, I guess, to a Enfuego burger challenge at Tumbleweed. Which, looking back, like, it actually wasn't that hot. It was actually just a lot of meat. It was pretty warm, like it was spicy, but it was just a big ass burger. The first time I ever had meat sweats was after that burger. Lost the challenge, and then I did like the Pacquiao challenge, or no, that's a boxer.
You did the Pocky.
I did the 1 chip challenge thing.
So you'll be fine then. These aren't. This one isn't that hot, or maybe hotter, but
no, that was a miserable experience. I never want to do that again.
Oh, yes. I always say in my videos, you don't need to do this at home. Don't even try this at home. It's not worth it.
Does anybody need ranch or blue cheese?
I'm good.
Ooh, I do love blue cheese, but let's do the sauce.
This is my ranch right here.
Okay.
I'm a big blue cheese proponent. Ranch
well, I will have this ready for us when we're ready to try to
That'll come
quench.
in helpful.
Yeah, stick my face into it.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
All right.
Look at these naked wings.
I didn't eat dinner just for this.
Yeah, same.
No.
You okay?
Oh, no.
So I guess this is like a reverse hot one situation where
These are kind of like moist towelettes. They're for actually cleaning glasses, but
Oh,
it works.
all right. Everybody grab a wing.
Yep.
Yeah.
Which
I'm getting a drum. I feel like this is the best way to go about it.
Yeah.
you guys know how to pop a flat?
It's a good.
So this, if I recall correctly, I made this about a year ago. I promise it's still good. I made it with, I believe, ancho peppers. I believe red habaneros, Scotch bonnets. There's obviously garlic and onion, and I think there's a little bit of tomato in there as well. So this one's not going to be the hottest one of the. Just tell me when, Michael.
let's do it.
Oh,
That's all right. That's all right.
Caliente.
Got a little excited there.
Yes, it happens to the best of us. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, those seeds are getting tough. Sorry about that.
all good. Oops, do a little
Yeah.
blocker. Yeah,
Dousing this.
my lap is now covered in hot sauce, but it's fine.
Riley's going to be in for a nice evening.
Yeah, I think we're good. I think we're good. Yeah.
The dog is gonna love.
So is this what people talk about when they're burning down there, or?
You might want to consult a
However
doctor.
much you want.
You guys are being really
Well,
You guys are being very
Hey, I don't know what I'm in for yet.
liberal with these.
Oh, you think that's liberal? Good. Okay.
well, I figure if it's the first one, this is what I got to do the most of, right? So
Yeah.
I gotta
set your
get my base and my
establish your
expectations.
base.
This does like squirt out all kinds of crazy.
Yeah, those seeds get in the way.
That's how you know it's good.
All right, so when did you first conceive this specific? I mean, is this a new thing? Has this been around for a while for you?
My fiance's mother, I think in 2018, got me a hot sauce making kit for Christmas,
Nice.
and I just got obsessed.
Oh, David's going in. All
I've
right.
been obsessed ever since.
So David is a self-proclaimed
guys.
sauce whore. Sauce whore.
It's true.
So David, why don't you walk us through what you're tasting right now with this sauce?
I think with any wing it's fine. But sauces are really where it shines. There's like a sweet heat, you know.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It's very, very mild.
Oh, that's really good.
Yeah.
A little bit tomatoey, a little bit light. It's
You
got
called
a
it
kick to it.
you
but
called
it's
it a
not
ranch, but
crazy.
Yeah, this is
yeah. Ancho also gives that like smoky
Mhm.
texture
Yeah.
sometimes. Which I'm a big fan of. I use a lot of chipotle and adobo type deal
Yeah.
and a lot of stuff I cook at
I
home.
love Chipotle.
Mm-hmm.
Ancho is a very similar thing.
Of course, it's cliche to say it now because of like all the hot sauce stuff, but it is nice when there's a hot sauce that actually has really good flavor too. Like
That's
it's not
what I
just
go for.
crazy.
yeah. You know,
Yeah.
I'm going to take a
Want
little
some
bit
more?
more since I have a little bit of wing.
That's
what I
normally
go
my
for.
go-to is like, why
It's
would
not-
I eat this if it doesn't
There's-
taste?
Mhm.
Right. There's no
Decent.
point in just having heat. Now, this one is going to be getting close to that, and I'll tell you the story behind that.
No, that's really good.
Yeah, I'm doing another one. I need a little more sauce.
Here you go. Yeah, this is. I mean, it's hot, but it's not like unbearable.
Yeah, no, I would
by
compare
any
that
means,
to like sriracha level hot kind of.
Yeah.
Maybe a little bit hotter than that, but in the same ballpark.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
super good. Super good.
And I will say,
There's a whole roll of napkins back there.
when
for you.
we
Okay.
when I'm just going to assume that when the time comes, we do have some left-hand milk stout ready for us to try to quench our thirst, because we're not buying milk and we're not going to drink milk on the podcast, so we need a milk stout.
I squirted myself too, so.
Yeah, that's going to happen. All right, tell us about this next one.
This is, the base is carrots
Okay.
with, I believe, habanero peppers. I think I put a couple of scorpion peppers in here.
Oh
too.
Lord.
It's going to be a little bit hotter,
All right.
hopefully.
I think a Trinidad Scorpion is what I've had before,
Yeah.
and it was damn hot. Ooh, that looks really nice.
That's a lot thicker.
How you doing over there, David?
I'm great.
Okay, good.
So I just got like a little bit of a warmth in my mouth. And
Mhm.
It's like, it's just about the right amount.
Generally,
I've got plenty here. All right.
I was gonna say generally when
I
I
was
cook,
going to gift this to a friend of mine, this bottle, and she keeps canceling on me. So guess what?
We
I'm
get
sharing
to
it with you guys instead.
her mistake is our benefit.
Yeah.
so when
I'll
you
give
make
her
these, do you leave the seeds in?
Yes.
Because like
Yeah.
every other time I cook with peppers is de-seed stem.
Yeah.
You know.
I always leave the seeds in when I'm cooking with peppers, just because I like that extra heat.
Do you ever wear like gloves and
Oh yeah.
Certain ones, yeah.
Every pepper.
I've got goggles. Yeah.
You ever go to the bathroom and forget the?
Oh,
I've done that
God.
before.
I've done that. I touched my eye
Not
before.
fun. Oh,
Are you familiar with Peril hot sauce that used to be the David Workman from previously Blue Stallion Brewing?
I don't think so.
Did you ever go to Crap Bash and see a guy dressed up as Satan running around with a
Probably.
red cape? As they work. Anyways,
I think you
He
might have
did-
taken the wrong thing before craft back.
no, he did tell me a story once about like him bottling his hot sauce and like how he just didn't have goggles and like immediately like just
I have
scorched.
a story for this last one.
Yeah.
that's
Oh
coming
Lord.
up. Yeah.
All right. Well, number two.
All
Here
right,
we go.
number two. Do you have names for these?
hot sauce.
Not really. Sometimes I do.
This
So I taste the carrots. There's got a nice sweet base, light, kind of vinegary, sweet. I'm getting a little tingle.
Mm-hmm.
From what I remember about Trinidad, it's a creeper. It doesn't kind of show up right at first.
Yep.
It kind of like sits back there and builds. It's really good too, man. That's fantastic.
I feel like I used too much, but here we go.
Yeah, okay. It's not murder. It's a really good level of spice. Actually, I don't know if I've ever had a carrot-based hot sauce before. That's really interesting. I
One of
really
my-
like that.
One of my favorite hot sauces is called Pain is Good Batch 37.
Mhm.
And it's carrot and garlic based with a lot of habanero. And I've been eating it for 20 years. I actually wrote a story about it for the Courier Journal one time. I liked it so much.
Nice.
Might get a second one. This is there's good flavor to it.
Yeah, really good.
Thank you.
Sorry to the listeners for all the chewing, but you get what you pay for.
Yeah, I think the last time we had this much food on was
Scout and Scholar?
Scout and Scholar, where they also brought wings, but it wasn't.
Or Buddy when he brought
Yeah,
the
Buddy with his
that's
sausage.
right.
Yeah,
homemade sausage and cheese.
He had some hot stuff too, didn't he?
I don't know.
Or he brought the Germantown Heat, maybe.
He brought
had
G-Town
the-
Heat.
Yeah, the G-Town Heat from Nick Wilson.
Or the Cabot cheese episode. We eat a lot on this.
Okay, yeah, sorry.
No, I disagree. We don't eat enough.
Yeah, we don't eat enough.
You know
I'm
how
sure
much-
that's what everybody wants is like the comments is like, please eat more on this podcast.
Oh, that'd be great. We're gonna get some cheese here soon, I think. Right?
Yeah, a couple weeks we'll
Oh,
have
yeah,
a cheese episode with a certified cheese expert.
I want to. That's life goals.
I mean, he did it. Pretty cool.
Yeah, this is got some heat. Pretty flavorful.
Yeah, I like
Nice
it.
and bright.
This is still very approachable.
Oh yeah, I'm
in my
not.
opinion.
I'm not like
Yeah.
dying. I'm not dead.
No, it helps that we're not just eating enough crackers.
Yeah.
You know, the
That little
food
bit of fat
actually-
in the chicken kind of
Yeah,
helps
exactly.
smooth it out. And Alton Brown, the food chef celebrity guy, always swears that a good beer is better than milk for kind of like tempering down those hot flavors. I don't know if he's right or not, but
Okay, actually get some of this.
milk stout is probably the perfect thing. So if this third one is as scary
I
as
would
it
go ahead
looks,
and just put them on the table.
yeah, we're gonna need them.
Let it rip.
You need some?
It's just,
Yeah, I'll take.
Just gonna clean off my pants here.
just
All
wash
right.
these damn things too.
So the number 3 is the hottest one.
Yes, and
Yeah. So
here's the story. So, Ben from Third Turn contacted me.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
I said, we're doing a wing eating contest. Would you want to dress up as a luchador and bring out a really, really hot sauce to squirt on these wings while they're eating them to make it harder?
That's evil.
I said, hell yeah. So I had a big batch of frozen 7 pot peppers.
Oh, my.
7 pot primo peppers are probably top 10 hottest in the world. And I've been sitting on them
Oh,
for
no.
a couple of years. And they were vacuum sealed, so they were still fresh.
Mm-hmm.
So I said, all right, finally going to use these peppers. So I made this sauce and took it out there and was squirting on those poor guys.
I'm feeling very
wings,
scared.
Yeah. And running around with my mask on and acting like an idiot. But one guy like just aced it. So I gave him a bottle of it as part of his
Nice.
prize. But this, there are only, I think, 3 ingredients.
Oh God.
7 pot peppers, lime, a little bit of garlic, a little bit of onion. Oh, I think some black pepper too. This is straight up. This is when I was making this, okay, I wasn't prepared. We talked about the goggles. I had my goggles on. I had my gloves on. I've got a small kitchen. And at the end of the process, after you've blended everything and you got it tasting the way you want, you cook it. So you heat it up, boil it so it doesn't have any bacteria in it. I started cooking it, and then I realized that's just pepper spray.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Oh my God.
I had to get my dog Atticus out of the house. I tied him up on the front porch, and I ran back in, fighting the fumes, turned on all the ceiling fans, opened the back door, opened all the windows, and had to go out and sit on my front porch for like, I don't know, 45 minutes.
You just like see the fumes wafting out.
Oh my God, it was terrible.
You created chemical
I
warfare at your
literally
house.
pepper sprayed myself. Yeah, so
Nuts, man.
I've got a bunch of super hot peppers now. I'm gonna have to make sure that it's on a day when I can open all the windows and from the start.
Oh, I'm so excited to try this one now. God.
I mean, just for context, on the second one, the heat is starting to catch up with me.
Yeah.
It's not bad, but I'm just like, all right, I'm actually feeling a little sweaty.
I like to call this I'm spiced.
The Trinidad is like catching up to me, so now I'm interested in this next one.
It's like the 3rd hottest Buffalo Wild Wing sauce.
Yeah.
It's like, it's not hot.
Oh yeah.
Oh, John.
Wait, is this the 3rd one? Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
All right.
Do you think that's too much?
That was
You're gonna
bold.
find out.
Oh God.
You're gonna learn today.
R.I.P. me.
I would like to.
This smells hot as hell.
It's hot, man. It's
Fair
like
enough.
This is one that I just went for just pure heat.
I've been doing a lot
It tastes
of
good though. I mean, I think it tastes good.
fucking around and finding out. And I'd like to do more finding out, less fucking around. So,
All right. Oh,
John, I think you're in
mama.
that boat.
I need some goggles.
Moeller's gonna die.
well, I didn't mean to do that much, so I'm gonna actually like take a little off there.
Here we go.
But,
David's
all
already
right.
in.
All right, guys, let's do this.
All right. Well, thanks for listening, everybody. We'll see you when we die. All right. So
Yeah, I can already tell that this is
it's billowing.
just right off the.
Immediately, my lips are numb. That little tingle. It's going down the back of my throat. There go the cops. It's so hot. Somebody called the freaking. Somebody called the
The
police.
fire department.
Oh yeah. That's hitting.
Yeah, that's hitting.
Meanwhile, Kevin's just putting more on.
It's actually really good though. Oh, it's sneaking up on me even more now.
I'm
So
not
I'm
mad
gonna
at you
throw-
now. I'm going to be mad at you tomorrow.
Yeah, I know. You know the only other part of your body that has taste buds?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Your stomach.
Mm.
All right. You know what though? I'm gonna I'm gonna double down. It's this one, right?
All right. Yep.
All right.
I could do a little more.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
That's hot. It's pretty damn hot.
It's pretty hot. It's not death.
It's not death.
It's not the one chip challenge for sure.
I will say it's still building on me though.
It's coming.
It's coming.
I feel it coming.
Yeah,
Oh, you know what?
it's coming. This is the clearest that my sinuses have been all day.
Well, it's even hurting me a little bit. I'm used to this stuff.
There we go. Yeah.
Yeah, it's coming.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
can. Yep.
Do you
think
have
I
a,
overdid
I
it.
start smelling colors.
is there any way to estimate how many like Scoville units each one of these things is?
I think a 7-pot pepper is like 1.3 million.
Oh God.
So this is just literally a giant bag of 7-pot peppers blended into a sauce.
Yeah, the second wing was a mistake.
Yeah, it's building. It's
Yeah.
building. All right, I'm going for the drink.
So that's part of the one chip challenge, though, right? It's like how
Oh, you
long
have to
can you
wait.
last?
I mean, I could last
like
forever.
30 minutes.
Come on.
And then you got to put the last one more dab on the last wing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, my tongue is numb.
Yeah, that's spicy. So I will say, I think my favorite is number 2. I really like that carrot one, and that was something different that I've never had before. I would eat the heck out of that. That's really, really good.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that.
I like the first one because it was the one that didn't make me.
Want to
Yeah,
die?
yeah. The first
Didn't
one's
make
gonna
you hate
taste
life.
I can see why you say the first one's basically just like ranch now.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
For the sake
I'm
of
so happy we did this.
for the sake of the likes.
You going back in?
I'm going back in.
Whew.
I feel like this is going to be just torturous at this point.
Yeah, Mueller, you are a glutton for punishment, my friend.
I am.
Kevin's going back in.
Yeah. I did part 2. I'm good.
Oh, I've got like whatever the meat sweats is accentuated
Cheers.
with like the crazy hot sauce sweats going on. Yeah,
Uh-huh.
I don't care anymore.
that makes the banquet taste all the better.
So I'm definitely sweating now.
Yeah, same.
I can feel like my eyes are watering up. My nose is just depleting of everything.
Yep, my sinuses are very, very clear.
Meanwhile, Kevin's just
Taking a stroll.
I eat this stuff every day.
To
So.
breeze.
Do you find that you build up a tolerance over time?
Yeah.
Yeah, I always wonder if the people who like, because I used to just eat like sriracha like ketchup back in college, and I didn't even taste it anymore. But now I do find it spicy when I eat it. I'm like, oh, this has some heat to it.
what's the as I'm struggling to breathe and talk.
Uh-huh.
What's your hottest go-to wing or sauce in Louisville?
I mean, most places don't have really hot wings.
Yeah.
Have you visited the new old Spring Street Bar and Grill?
I have.
Have you had their Korean barbecue, or is it the Korean barbecue? What is it?
It's a Korean barbecue.
yeah, Korean barbecue wings.
Yeah, I tried those.
Those are pretty hot.
Yeah.
I thought.
Those are fairly hot. I mean, like if I go to Buffalo Wild Wings, I usually get the second hottest, just so I can taste my lunch.
Yeah.
And then like it, Roosters has, what's it called? Donkey Hot or something like that.
Donkey's fine.
Yeah.
I normally get Donkey and
That's-
Carolina Gold.
I've never
Mix.
had that.
Whatever their hottest is, I always get that. But sometimes what I'll do is like I'll get like chicken tenders and then get dipping sauce on the side so I can control.
Yeah.
Yeah.
how much. That way you can if you start to flame up, you can ease back a little bit.
I always thought the blazing off of Buffalo was just so bad. Like it's almost like
Which one?
the blazing, like the top tier one at
Yeah.
Buffalo.
Yeah.
It's just so bad. Like it's so bitter. Like it just burns.
That's why I usually
It's
get
not
wild.
fun.
It tastes better.
Yeah.
There's a kind of spice, like, and I would say all these are in that like pleasant spice category, even though it's hella hot.
I don't
But
think the
there's-
last one wasn't like crazy.
It wasn't
Right,
crazy,
yeah.
but it's a lot.
It's a lot, but there are some that are just like, I don't know what it is. They just taste like gross. They just
Yeah.
taste like oily, like daggers or something like that. I just
Yeah.
don't understand that at all.
Well, I add a lot of different things to help it taste better. So it's not just the straight up pepper
Yeah.
flavor you're getting.
I love the carrot one. I think I'm super interested
It's
in
one
that.
of
That's
my
really
favorite
good.
bases to use.
Yeah.
So it goes so well with a habanero pepper. Boy, those things are made for each other. Sometimes I'll just make a bunch of that stuff just to have bottles to give away, and
Mhm.
you know. But I don't know. It's just a fun hobby, and I love to get up on a Sunday morning, get up. All right, I want to make a sauce. Just make it up as I go. I don't even plan it out. I don't keep recipes or anything. Just do it for fun. Same way I make
add some more
chili.
peppers. I'm gonna add some more peppers. Add some more peppers.
Well, I taste along the way and keep adding more and more until I get the right amount of heat that I
Yeah.
want.
I say though,
where are those paper towels?
I went back to just the straight wings. These Craft House wings are incredible.
They're really
around.
Oh
good.
yeah, they are good.
They're really good.
Especially
yeah.
they've like traveled to get here.
So
It's a fried wing. And it's good.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, perfect.
when you are used to the heat, as you said, you get accustomed to it. But does that make you sweat less?
No. I mean, just watch one of my videos and you
Because
see.
I am
I don't think like
I am
capsaicin,
sweating right
Yeah.
now.
capsaicin tolerance isn't really like a thing, right?
Well, you learn. So the guy that gave me those 7-pot peppers, he also gave me a bunch of ghost peppers, and I haven't used all those yet. But he said, when you eat one of these, he said, just remind yourself this is going to be over in 10 minutes. And so you just put up with it and you
Yeah.
deal with it
Yeah.
and you enjoy the flavor, you enjoy it's an endorphin rush. I mean, literally after I ate those 2 ghost peppers, I was high.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was buzzing big time.
Your
So
body's
that's
like,
part
what
of
the
the
fuck,
fun.
man?
Any
That's part of the fun. I
any
mean, that's
buzz that I thought I had is gone now.
Yeah, sobers you right up.
Yeah.
replaced by a new kind of buzz.
I am tempted. I mean, you've heard of a michelada, but what about a?
Oh yeah, hot sauce beer. I'll fuck with that.
That's
That's gonna be very
Yeah,
very
that's
terrible
gonna be-
idea.
That's gonna
Mixing this in
It's
with
not gonna
a
take long for that to hurt.
mixing this in with a chorus banquet right now. So
I just don't.
I
I
put
don't
a-
want to hear it tomorrow.
I put a habanero chopped it in pieces and put it in a growler one time, and it took about an hour, and it was like, oh my god, it was so
cool.
hot.
Can't wait. All right.
Pepper beers are very interesting too because the flavors go really really well together, but it's really easy to overdo
Yeah.
it.
That's a bad idea.
Yeah. You're gonna be suffering.
Maybe I'll do that for one of my videos next.
Yeah. Just squirt some hot sauce in there, michelada style.
Yeah. Also, just tastes really bad now. Does anybody want to do a shot of ranch, or a shot of? Here, give me one of those milk stouts.
Just coat your tongue in it.
I gotta do that. I've done this far too long.
One of these in forever.
I appreciate you committing to the bit though.
Yeah.
Oh, I mean,
I
would-
think you
I'll
and
do one
Kevin
more.
by far ate the most hot sauce.
Well, I just don't want to eat all the wings. That's why I didn't go more.
Hey, help yourself, man.
Again, thank you to Craft House Pizza for
Yeah.
supplying the wings.
And thank you,
100%.
Kevin. Those are really, really good
I'm
sauces.
glad you enjoyed it,
Those are
guys. I'll be
stuff
making more. I'll
you
be
won't
sure
get
to
anywhere
share
else.
next time.
Yeah.
Cheers to wings, hot sauce,
Cheers.
and nitro milk stout.
Yeah.
from,
Indeed.
left hand.
Think we'll ever see a
And
hot sauce
Banquet.
hot sauce recipe book?
Oh man, I'd probably not because I don't write the recipes down. Sorry.
It's like just go with it.
That's most of the time when I cook. I'm like,
Yeah,
just
I
some
mean,
of
I love
that,
making
you know.
chili too, but I've never written on the recipe. People are like, what's your recipe? I'm like, that's the
No,
secret. There is no
No
recipe.
idea.
Whatever's in my freaking cabinet, like Worcestershire sauce, peanut butter, you know.
Cinnamon or no cinnamon?
I don't use cinnamon. I do not like cinnamon
No,
in
it's
chili.
terrible.
I've used a little nutmeg.
Nutmeg's fine. Oregano is fine.
Minimal
Ooh,
amounts,
oregano.
but yeah.
I don't know about oregano.
So the reason why I wanted a milk stout specifically is when I did do that one chip challenge thing. I didn't have any milk on hand. I didn't really think it was very last second, but I did have a bunch of like mile wide McPoyle, I think, on
Mm.
hand.
Oh yeah.
Mhm.
So basically, I relied on a couple of cans of that, and then I had friends over that witnessed this entire thing because we were doing it all together. And then we decided to watch immediately afterwards. What's the newish Dunkirk.
Oh, yeah.
The World War
Yeah.
One, like
Silent movie.
silent movies, single cam, whatever.
So you're just
So I'm
suffering in
just-
silence.
You're like just sitting
Tears
there
running
on the
down your
couch,
face.
just miserable for the next 2 hours because like the hot sauce, yeah, it made you feel hot, but then there's the secondary effect of just making your stomach
Yeah.
Oh,
feel
yeah.
like
I did that.
oh.
Meanwhile,
Look how
everybody.
red Michael's face is.
I mean, I feel like I'm probably there
I
too.
mean, I'm still sweating, despite.
I'm just picturing you watching Dunkirk, like with tears running down your face, and everybody's like, "Michael's really affected by the Great War."
What a sad movie.
Why am I crying right
Yeah.
now?
It is a good movie. Shout out to Dunkirk.
What's the hot one? Which one is it? I deserve more.
The really hot one is over here.
I deserve more.
You deserve more.
Go for it.
Absolutely.
So what I
Suffering.
do love about that is that there's still flavor to it.
Yeah.
It's not just
Yeah,
hot. We talked about it, but like that is so
it keeps you wanting to go
that is
back.
a fine line because anybody can just make something hot as fuck that you don't want.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, there's no reason I should have picked this up a third time.
No, because it's flavorful and
It's
you love
good,
it.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm proud of that sauce.
Made with love.
I've got like 2 or 3 more bottles of it, so I'm gonna have that for a while.
Oh, feel free to drop one off.
Yeah, we'll trade you for.
You're welcome to have these
Whatever.
if you want them.
Oh, yeah. Might take you up on that.
I'll put it on my cereal.
There you go. On your
Yeah.
Pop Tarts.
Have you had the G Town Heat from Nick that used to work at Monic?
Nope.
he makes some good ones
I'll
too.
make sure to get you a bottle somehow.
Scotch
It's-
bonnets and reapers and
Love the Scotch
very
bonnet. What
hot.
a great pepper.
Because like I would just put a couple drops into the chicken chili or something at Monic,
Yep.
and it would just heat it up immediately.
oh, dude, that day we ate it on a cracker. Holy shit, this is hot.
Yeah. That's the way to get the full force of a hot sauce.
Yeah,
So I
just
brought
go-
crackers, but this
Oh.
was a much better idea.
Well, I mean,
You're sadistic.
let's do it then.
You're sadistic.
But before we wrap up this segment, let's break out some crackers
the hot stuff.
and do it with the hot stuff. John, David, you in on this?
I'll do it.
No, I did. Wait, no.
Oh, we got the club crackers. Let's do it.
Nothing but the best.
Yeah,
for my
sometimes I feel like the
guys.
crackers actually make it like more intense.
No, it's far more intense.
Oh, yeah.
It's just like an insult.
Adding insult to injury. Quite literally. Yeah.
Yeah. Peril hot sauce is really good, as we mentioned. Basically, when I'm thinking about people that make good hot sauces is locally, it's those two folks. All right. So
This is a weird way to have fun.
Yeah.
Did you see that episode of the Hot Wings show, Hot Ones, where David Blaine was on?
I haven't watched that one yet.
He had like no reaction to any of the hot stuff. So I'm like, obviously that's his thing. Like he can do extreme
Yeah.
physical feats. I'm like, was he just doing mind over matter, or did he like coat his mouth in
I
like
didn't put it
food
up
grade
on mine.
wax or something? I was really. I don't know if there's any like secrets to do. Like,
Oh, there it is. There's
yeah,
some-
it's
some-
sneaking up on me now
This is
too.
very
It's
hot.
hot. It's
Yeah,
hot.
it's like with when you do it with the cracker, you don't taste anything at
No.
all.
No.
And then all of a
Then it
sudden
just comes. Yeah, yeah.
I
The
did
wings
not-
are a nice medium.
Yeah, I did not respect this enough.
I agree with you though. Tomorrow is going to be the real.
Yeah,
real
that's a real
suffering.
thing too.
The Ring of Fire.
So again,
The Johnny Cash song. yeah.
thank you for bringing these.
Absolutely, man.
Yeah,
Enjoyed it.
Yeah, this is awesome.
This is a fun little thing for us to do, and thank you to Craft House and Hometown for supplying the wings for this segment.
Yeah,
We love you all.
it's
Go
a fun
there.
thing to do at home. Growing peppers is fun. You know, gardening is
love
a
it,
good
yeah.
hobby, and like
I've got a seedling right now that I can't wait to transplant. It's a hybrid between that pepper and the Fatali pepper.
ooh,
I
wow.
almost brought some Fatali sauce, but the Fatali pepper has a really distinctive, bright, like citrusy flavor.
Mhm.
So let's do this again in a year or so, and I'll make sauce with those
No.
peppers.
I think I'll have
I'm
recovered in a
leaving.
year.
You guys, I quit.
Yeah, I just wiped my my face with my sleeve, and my sleeve is now drenched with sweat. That's that came up on me fast doing with the
naked?
clove cracker.
Yeah.
That was a good idea. All right, let's move on to some Louisville news.
do we guys need a minute? We can take a break.
I'm good. David, you good?
Fine, good.
All right. We still got some wings in there. Let's enjoy
I'm
those.
gonna eat a wing.
Yeah. David, tell us what's the new brewery scoop.
We're gonna win Podcasters of the Year on this one. Well, announced just a couple of days ago. You got it? All right. Well, let
You
you
guys are
get
never
there.
having me on this again.
No, this is great, man. This is what it's all about.
Formerly known as the furthest brewery on the west end was Shippingport Brewery, residing on Main and about 12th Street there. In the Portland neighborhood, we received news a little bit earlier this week about another brewery opening in the Portland neighborhood, all the way down on 25th Street. Kairos Brewing is making plans to open and announce soon. This is definitely the farthest west brewery, but definitely a neighborhood that's completely underserved in the craft beer space and realm. Not too many details that we have so far. They have a cool logo. Look like a nice bunch of folks, but
It's
hopefully we'll have them on soon and have a quick chat with them.
three couples, I think, so 6 people.
I knew one of the couples as home brewers. They would come in here and do recipes and stuff, and real nice folks, and make good beer. So optimistic.
So the heat's catching up to us right now, I feel like.
This
So,
is a labor.
Kyros, our apologies for not covering this story correctly, because this is
Yeah, we'll have you guys on. We're excited to learn more.
yeah.
But you guys can follow them on. I think they have an Instagram set
They
up.
do have an Instagram set up.
Kyros
KYROS
Yeah.
Brewing.
Yeah, they're in the Farm to Fork catering building in the west end of Louisville. Really
I
excited.
feel so bad for you right now, Mulder.
Really excited for that part of town to get another brewery, because
Me too.
It's good.
That's what we always say. Like, the more spread out and like all these underserved neighborhoods, the better it's going to be for the whole community.
Yeah, they're going to do a great job
Yeah.
of exposing and also introducing some great beer to people that may never have
Yeah.
considered that.
100%.
Yeah, one big thing we always say is just kind of like
Michael's drinking ranch over here.
spreading out across the,
Whatever you got to do, man. No, you're in the no judgment zone.
across the city. We have such a density when it comes to breweries. So anybody
Yeah.
else willing to take a stab to go out south, north, whatever. Well, north is probably not an option, but
There's all those closed up thoroughbred lounges like down Dixie Highway. I keep thinking thoroughbred brewery like down in
That'd
Schlafly,
be
or,
great.
you know,
Yeah.
thoroughbred too. You could franchise it out. There's like
Let's pull the
endless
permits.
opportunities.
Yeah,
Yeah, we're pulling the permits.
pull the permits.
Just the health inspection will be a little dicey, but you know.
And then there's some big news that we need to announce.
Yeah, this is kind of big news.
I think maybe it's in the fridge.
It's kind of unexpected news. Yeah. Obviously, we've talked a lot today about the history of Louisville and kind of the historical significance of Louisville as a beer city. Along with that goes the namesake of our podcast, the Kentucky Common Beer Style. We think it's a great beer, obviously. We think that the story behind it deserves more recognition. And it turns out we're not alone. And all of our talking about it has not fallen on deaf ears. We kind of have had some under the radar. We haven't really been allowed. We all had to sign a few things, not to reveal too many details, but I think we're okay to talk about it as of today. Yeah. AB InBev, Anheuser-Busch, Budweiser, as you may know them, is launching nationwide their very own Kentucky Common. So they're leaning into the style. They really like the history. And we've kind of entered into a marketing deal with them to help promote it, to kind of help produce knowledge and information to help the public learn about it. And we actually have a couple of them in the fridge if you guys want to try AB InBev's Kentucky Common.
I'm into that. Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. And while you prepare those two
And
beers,
I'm going to judge harshly.
I for one am shocked.
yeah. While you prepare those two beers, they did give us a copy of the press release that they just sent out. Starts off with a great tagline, by the way. The King of Beers is now the King of Commons. Great. I love
That's
that so
pretty
much.
cool. Yeah.
St. Louis-based Anheuser-Busch is excited to announce the launch of its new Budweiser Kentucky Common beer. This beer style has deep roots in American brewing history and is a unique and flavorful addition to the Anheuser-Busch portfolio. Consumers can expect to see 30 can cases and 6-packs of the new dark cream ale hit shelves and show up on draft at their favorite bar later this month. It's really cool. As they say in the press release, St. Louis, Missouri, and Louisville, Kentucky share a long and intertwined history when it comes to brewing. St. Louis is the home of Anheuser-Busch, the largest beer producer in the United States, and has been a hub of brewing activity for over 150 years. Meanwhile, Louisville has a rich pre-Prohibition brewing history with its own distinct beer styles and traditions. By creating Budweiser Kentucky Common, Anheuser-Busch is celebrating the shared brewing heritage of these two cities and bringing unique and delicious beer style to beer lovers across the country.
Yeah.
I'm really
The
personally excited
Great
about this.
American Common, it says on the label.
Yeah. I'll
So
put
these
a
are
picture of the
prototypes?
logo up on. Yeah, this is like their internal testing. They just sent us some of their like R&D batch, I guess. So this is probably a little bit different in terms of marketing and branding than what'll go into the can. But yeah, I'll put the logo up on the screen for people watching. You might notice the reminiscence to the podcast logo. That's part of our marketing deal with them. So
this is the famous Kentucky Common. We know of no other American beer that inherits so much history as the Common style. Our exclusive pitch barrel aging produces a taste so smooth and drinkable you will find in no beer at any place. So kudos to Anheuser-Busch for creating this style that we've been advocating for so long. Let's go ahead and drink this right now.
yeah, cheers,
This
guys.
has been-
Mission
this is
accomplished,
exciting.
I think. Mission accomplished.
I think as far as the common
Cool,
mission
thanks.
goes,
Yeah.
this will be a
Can't
great.
believe it.
And now, if only the state of Kentucky would name it the state beer style before AB InBev gets all of the
Yeah.
cred for making it,
Yeah.
a thing.
And it's in long necks.
Yeah, and it's in long necks. I think they're going to do it in long necks, 12 ounces. They might do it in some tall boys that have some like vintage retro
Yeah,
branding on
maybe
it.
some 19.2s. Who knows?
Mhm.
You know?
Yeah.
That's definitely better than regular Budweiser. Definitely.
Honestly, this is a good beer.
You can taste
I'm
that it's
surprised.
corn instead of rice in there. I know they'd use the actual like authentic Kentucky Common recipe, a little bit of dark malt.
Yeah. It's not sour. That's the nice thing.
Yeah, not
thank
sour.
God.
Although we did have a very long conversation with their recipe development team about the pitch barrel aging. That's something that we insisted that they do because they are always like touting the beechwood finish on the regular Budweiser. They want to do that with this, but it's like if you really want to do it authentically, it has to be aged in pitch lined pine barrels. So we had to find a cooper that was willing to do that. It was a whole big thing. But, I think this is going to be a great way to kind of introduce regular Budweiser drinkers to a little bit more beer history.
So
If you want to learn a little bit about more history, you can scroll back probably a couple episodes, and we do have a whole entire panel uploaded of the history of the Kentucky Common.
Or pick up Kevin's book.
Yeah, that too.
Or that
There's
too.
a whole chapter.
If you can read, do that.
and in some personal news relating to this, David, if you'd like to share that part.
Mergers and acquisitions.
Oh, can we say that yet?
Yeah, well, I think we're not allowed to talk about dollar amount.
I
We
think
can
yeah.
talk
Let's
about,
just go ahead and break it here.
Can I have a job?
Yeah.
So,
Yes. Yeah.
so we can't afford at least one employee. But due to this deal, we have been acquired by one AB InBev. So we're fucking sellouts, guys.
Yeah.
We
We did not take
All
that
right, hold
decision lightly either. It's like,
So
I'm not disappointed in you.
you all. So there's been a lot of conversation around Anheuser-Busch and AB InBev over the years, and I understand it. However, this is a completely different situation. We're not a brewery. We're an ale trail. We're a podcast. So part of the deal was, in order for us to advance this style of beer that is so historically tied to our state and our heritage.
yeah.
This was part of the deal. They want a part of this, and I don't blame them. And I'm happy to be a part of that. We've been able to be kind of consultants along the way on this style. So to me, it's a win-win. We'll still be around. We still plan on hosting this podcast.
Yeah, nothing should really change.
Nothing's changing at all.
I'm going to drive a Ferrari.
We might be getting nicer cars.
All right,
yeah.
Dave is really excited about the dollar amount. I don't blame him. It's kind of life-changing. But also, nothing's going to change. We're still going to be the same three schlubs that you see hanging out at Mile Wide. Like we're just walking in like, hey, yeah, give me a Paris-Town Light. Like we'll still be drinking.
Or maybe they'll put a Kentucky Common on tap and we'll drink that.
And like
there.
I said, I'm happy to sell you these hot sauces.
Absolutely. We'll do a
That's
franchise deal.
That's what you said.
But anyway, we wanted you guys to hear it here first. So I guess starting maybe April 1st, it should start appearing on shelves slowly but surely, making its way into the market. I know Louisville is going to be one of the first target markets. I know they're going to work really aggressively to get some, space on all like the retail shelves.
You say
and
they, it's we.
we, yeah.
Yeah.
We're working like this is part of our baby now. So
Yeah. Well, and it's again we've criticized other breweries for working with AB InBev, but again, like
we're not a brewery.
and AB InBev has helped all these. Like, look how much better Goose Island is now than it was before they bought it. Look how much better Wicked Weed is now. than it was before they acquired it.
Yeah, it's been good. And there may have been some news about a specific Ohio brewery recently. Just don't even worry about that. Like we're not a brewery. That's not going to happen to us. We're an ale trail. We're a podcast. So thank you again, Anheuser-Busch. We appreciate your patronage. And let's get the Kentucky Common known nationwide.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
And with that comes, let's go ahead and wrap things up. Kevin, thank you so much for your hot sauce and your stories tonight.
I apologize for that.
I'm all flustered right now because I'm just like, I'm still sweating and my stomach kind of hurts now. But again, thank you very much. We will end the same way that we end every show. David, what do you have to plug?
I got to plug physical therapy.
Was that not last week? You're really going hard on it.
Man, it's not about the work. It's about the consistency. You want to see yourself do a little better, you just get that Velcro out, turn the key up and down at 20 times. It sounds dumb. It's going to help you in your wrist, in your elbow. You're going to feel better after.
Hell yeah.
Just show up.
I'm going to plug the ancient Egyptians and the Great Pyramid. Did you guys see that they finally revealed that they have confirmed that they found another chamber in there, and they sent in a little camera? It's another chamber that nobody's ever been into, right above the main entranceway, and they're not really sure what it was used for. There was nothing interesting or cool in there.
They're power plants.
Well.
Or just storage.
Yeah.
Just storage.
But it confirmed the way that they determined that they thought it was there was the muon scanning project, and they set up these basically like giant solar panels, but instead of collecting the sun energy, they collect like muons, like nanoparticles that are emitted by the sun. And it takes like a year to get a reading, but the same project also confirmed that there's a huge void on the inside of the pyramid that no one would have ever accessed before. So it's pretty cool. If you like ancient Egypt and the pyramids, read up on it. The Scan Pyramids project had a major breakthrough this week.
Kevin, I know you already kind of plugged the future book you're working on, but anything else you'd like to talk about?
Check out my new YouTube series, Chasing Heat. Just look up Kevin Gibson, Chasing Heat, and there are only like 5 or 6 videos at most right now, but I'm going to keep doing every couple of weeks and hurting myself badly.
So if you got any pleasure out of watching us suffer, you can see Kevin suffer tenfold
When you
with those
eat a
last
raw
ones.
pepper, like super hot pepper, is a whole
Are
different
you
animal.
taking on guests yet?
Not yet.
I'm in.
We'll come on. We'll come on.
All right.
Yeah,
We'll
I'm a
do the
glutton.
challenge together. And that sounds great.
Bro, I ate a Serrano the other day, and I was like, this shit hot.
Oh, yeah.
On my end, can I give a shout out to milk? No, shout out to running. Shout out to running. Running's fun. It's actually not fun. I've never once looked forward to running, and I've never once enjoyed running. I do it a lot. Just training for something right now, but I always feel good afterwards. So like if you haven't really like ran in a while, go ahead and do it so you can feel a sense of accomplishment afterwards. Mentally speaking, your legs will hurt, your asthma will come back to haunt you after 15 years. But yeah, shout out to running.
You talking about running or eating really hot peppers?
I think
You
both.
should be running to the bathroom.
Yeah.
I think both. My mouth is fine now, but I'm still like sweating.
Yeah, there was a minute there
I'm-
where my soul left my body. It was brief, but
You're right though. Like there's this feeling of just like being kind of high. And
It's it's almost like a euphoric feeling. It's really
it is
weird.
like I actually feel good. I know I'm sweating. I know my face is probably like red.
I know I don't look it, but
but-
It's the
I feel
afterglow.
Like I just feel so good right now. Because Kevin said afterglow, it's time to end this podcast. So guys, thank you so much tonight.
Thanks, guys. I
Kevin.
appreciate
Yeah,
it.
it was awesome.